For the last 2 decades, the New England Patriots have been a model for success, with 5 Super Bowl victories, 8 Super Bowl appearances, missing the playoffs only 2 times since 2001. The Patriots have established themselves as the most successful team in the NFL 2 decades in a row. As a society, we tend to get caught up in the here and now, so a lot of NFL fans forget that the Patriots come from humble beginnings. Before the Brady-Belichick era, the Patriots were a team that rarely found success, and even when they did manage to climb the mountain of the NFL a couple of times, they were almost laughably overmatched and outplayed by far superior teams. In order to fully appreciate what the Patriots have become, and most importantly interpret what their future could hold, we cannot overlook their murky past. Established 1960, the first-named Boston Patriots played the first game in AFL history against the Denver Broncos. Fortunately, the Patriots started off with a close 10-13 loss. But fortunately, they did manage to build a contending team by 1963, where they managed to make the AFL championship. Despite having a Patriot team with 4 All-Stars, the San Diego Chargers dominated the Pats by a score of 51-10. Now, despite not making the playoffs again, pre-merger, fullback Jim Nantz did manage to win AFL MVP in 1967. Due to certain stadium regulations, the Patriots were forced to move out of their small Boston stadium to a new stadium that was being constructed in Foxborough, Massachusetts. After moving to this location, the Patriots changed their title to New England, representing the entire Northeast area. The 70s proved to have many peaks and valleys for the Pats. One of the biggest moments of the decade was in 1973, where O-lineman John Hannah was drafted. Hannah, one of the greatest football players in history, helped the Patriots have one of the better run games in the league and played all but a few games for 13 seasons. Hannah also became the first Patriot Hall of Famer. Besides from Hannah, the Patriots' success was hard to come by as they were unable to make the playoffs until Steve Grogan entered the scene.
Steve Grogan took the reins, and the air attack was back in Patriots football.
Grogan back looking to throw. He fires long and deep, intended for Stanley Morgan. Morgan takes it to the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, New England!
One of the toughest QBs to ever play the game, Grogan led the Patriots to a playoff berth in 1976, effectively ending a 13-year playoff drought. The Patriots played the Oakland Raiders in their first round, a team that they destroyed in the regular season, while the Patriots looked to be on the road to victory after a key sack. A controversial roughing the passer call changed the dynamic of the game.
With less than 2 minutes remaining, Raiders quarterback Ken Stabler threw incomplete on 3rd and 18, but the Raiders were thrown a life preserver.
And it's broken up at the last second.
Goes incomplete on our sideline, and then we see the flag, and then they call the roughing the passer. And I look at the replay and I said, you gotta be kidding me.
Raiders, led by quarterback Ken Stabler, advanced to the next round. Patriots did make the playoffs one last time in the 1970s and 78, but a coaching distraction that shoved their defensive and offensive coordinator into the head coach position for a playoff game proved to be too much for the Pats to handle as they lost 31-14 against the Houston Oilers. The Patriots missed the playoffs for the next couple of seasons, but in 1982, thanks in part to the famous snowplow game where the Patriots plowed a clear path for the kicker to secure a big division win over the Miami Dolphins, the Pats managed to sneak into the playoffs. Now, ironically, the Dolphins dismantled the Pats, ending a short stint in the postseason. Not until 1985 did the Pats make the playoffs again. With an 11-5 finish, they were a wild card team going up against division rival New York Jets. The Jets proved to be no problem as the Patriots coasted to a 26-14 victory. The divisional round featured a rematch of the iconic 1976 Raiders-Pats game with the the roughing the passer call. This time around, the Patriots jumped all over the Raiders, forcing 6 turnovers and winning 27-20. Familiar foe awaited the Patriots in the AFC Championship as division rival Miami looked poised for a Super Bowl run.
There's a story in my eyes. Turn the pages of desire. Now it's time to trade those dreams for the rush of passion's fire. Here comes the rain again, raining in my head like a tragedy.
Dolphins played in Miami, where they had won 20 straight games against New England, but despite the adversity, New England shows up with the 31-14 victory, landing them in their first ever Super Bowl. Now, the Super Bowl matchup was against the Chicago Bears, with arguably the best defense in NFL history, even to this date. Along with Hall of Fame running back Sweetness, Walter Payton, the Patriots had some weapons such as wide receiver Stanley Morgan and Irving Fryer, along with running back Craig James, but with a young QB in Eason and such a dominant defense facing them, they were the clear underdog.
V66 has just brought you one of your last chances to see Chicago before New England buries the Bears.
Tapes rolling, take one.
They beat the Jets and became contenders, and we cheered them on. Then they beat those Miami pretenders, and the jinx was gone. Still on the downers around them, said, can we go that far? Just let us stay for the record. There's no stopping this rising star. New England, the Patriots and me.
As if the two music videos were a precursor, the Super Bowl proved to be a massive disappointment as the Patriots, as expected, were outmatched the entire game. They did manage to slow down Walter Payton, but they left everyone else on the Bears virtually unstoppable with no resistance from the defense. The Bears' offense proved to be difficult to contain, obviously. They put up 44 points, including a touchdown from a D lineman known as the Refrigerator. The defense lived up to their name as well, only allowing 10 points, 7 coming late in the fourth quarter, pretty much garbage time. So this led to one of the biggest blowouts in Super Bowl history. The Patriots did rebound from their first Super Bowl heartbreak and returned to the playoffs the following season, but at a matchup against John Elway and the Denver Broncos, they came up just short of making the AFC Championship. After this defeat, the Patriots seemed to become the worst team in the NFL. From 87 to 94, the Patriots missed the playoffs while the team owners were slowly going bankrupt. The Patriots weren't mediocre, they were terrible, and the laughingstock of professional football. Even though the 1993 season on the surface wasn't very impressive with a losing record, it still proved to be a step in the right direction for the organization, a bigger step than maybe at first thought. Robert Kraft, who is now known as one of the greatest owners in sports, was in the process of buying the team and saving the Patriots from a move to St. Louis, and legendary coach Bill Parcells was trying to build a competing roster. Now, part of building a competing roster is addressing the struggling QB position, and in 1993, Parcells and the Patriots drafted first-round pick Drew Bledsoe, who would soon prove to be a great NFL talent. Now, around halfway through the 1994 season, the Patriots were 3-6. Parcells and his young QB, Drew Bledsoe, were disappointing in a season that had high expectations. Now, with his back against the wall, Drew Bledsoe did the impossible in Minnesota.
Were hopelessly behind. Then, unnoticed at first, something amazing happened. In the closing moments of the first half, Bledsoe's instincts took over as the Patriots went to the 2-minute drill. He guided New England to a field goal, and then something truly unexpected happened. Stodgy Bill Parcells gave his young quarterback, a teenager 3 short years ago, the keys to the Ferrari.
Leading a come-from-behind victory in overtime in a must-win situation, Bledsoe set records for pass attempts and completions and showed one of the best QB performances in NFL history. The performance sparked the team to win out the season and finish 10-6, making the playoffs. Parcells would match up with his former defensive coordinator Bill Belichick, who was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. The wild card matchup was close, But Belichick and the Browns won 20-13 after stopping Bledsoe and the Patriots offense on a critical 4th down. New England fans were finally excited to be watching football, knowing that Parcells and Bledsoe was bound to end in major success. Now, unfortunately, the 1995 season was mediocre at best with a record of 6-10. But Parcells was in a tough spot going into 1996 season with 3 seasons and no playoff wins, and he was most likely on the hot seat. With the defense featuring Ty Law, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, and Lawyer Malloy, the Patriots looked to finally compete. The Patriots didn't disappoint, posting an 11-5 record and returning to the postseason. Now, after running through Pittsburgh and Jacksonville in the playoffs, the Patriots found themselves in their franchise second Super Bowl, going against Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers proved tough to beat down the stretch. The Patriots took a lead in the second quarter, but Brett Favre threw 2 touchdowns, and Desmond Howard had a kick return touchdown to put the dagger in the Parcells New England Patriots. Score 35-21. After the Super Bowl loss, Parcells resigned and took a job for the New York Jets. The coaching spot for the Patriots was filled by Pete Carroll. In '97, Carroll took the Pats back to the playoffs, and in the wild card round, the Pats easily bested the Miami Dolphins 17-3. But in the divisional round rematch against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steelers won a close nail-biter 7-6 after a late fumble in the game. Now, Carroll and the Patriots finished the '98 season with a 9-7 record, which narrowly put them in the playoffs, but unfortunately, they were thoroughly outplayed by the Jacksonville Jaguars, losing 25-10. Now, 1999 was going to be a big season for Pete Carroll, and unfortunately, he finished 8-8 and was fired after the season.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I know it's late and short notice. I know the last 3 weeks have probably been trying for all of you, but that's all behind me. I'm tremendously excited to be here, to be a part of the New England Patriots organization.
The Patriots hired Bill Belichick in 2000 to be their head coach. Belichick was an unexperienced head coach, but a highly praised assistant who worked with Bill Parcells on multiple occasions. Owner Robert Kraft took a chance and gave Belichick the team. He would serve as the GM and the head coach of the Patriots. The very same year, the Patriots drafted a Michigan quarterback by the name of Tom Brady with the 199th pick in the 6th round.
Here in New York, our draft coverage continues. It's New Orleans on the clock at pick 200, as we said, bottom of the 6th, end of the 6th round. And we talk about the teams and what they're looking for, and for the players who are waiting to see if they will be drafted. Some are hoping that the phone call comes or their name gets mentioned in the next couple of hours. Others are hoping not to hear it. Maybe they won't be drafted, but they may have the opportunity to go to a situation that would best fit them as a free agent. So an anxious time for so many football players who are college stars. Among the last 6 picks taken, a familiar name if you're a college football fan, Tom Brady, the quarterback who all he did was lead this football team, put them in the right position more times than not. And when he got pulled from the game and Drew Henson came in, Michigan football was not as good as it was.
Although no one knew the impact of these 2 decisions at the time, they would prove to send ripples through the sports universe in just a few short years. After 2000 season where the players showed up to camp out of shape and not ready to play competitive football, and a disappointing 5-11 record, 2001 would prove to be the best year in New England football history. Week 2 against the New York Jets, after already suffering a Week 1 loss to Cincinnati, Drew Bledsoe took a disgusting hit that sent him to the hospital. Now, with Bledsoe out, the 6th-round pick Tom Brady was thrust into action, and he never looked back. Now, we all know the story. Brady came in, led the Patriots to the Super Bowl, and won the game in one of the biggest upsets in sports history against an explosive St. Louis Rams team.
Points. That's right. Here's Brady again. Up the middle, caught, and it's Troy Brown, and he gets out of bounds, and they might be in Vinatieri's range. The ball hang out. Right now, it would be a 53-yarder. Here comes the blitz, and here's Brady. He dumps it to Wiggins down to the 30, and now no question about it, they are in range, but they got to hurry. Maybe he can spike it right here and stop the clock.
That's what he'll do. He'll spike it here.
7 seconds. They got Vinatieri in range.
I'll tell you, what Tom Brady just did gives me goosebumps. Two of the greatest kicks that I've ever seen in my life.
Here comes one of greater importance if he makes it. And it's right down the pipe. Adam Vinatieri.
Despite missing the playoffs in 2002, they were right back in the Super Bowl in 2003 against a very talented Carolina Panthers team led by quarterback Jake Delhomme. The game came down to the last drive, but once again, Brady came in the clutch. The following season, the Pats were once again back in the Super Bowl, on verge of a dynasty. Now, despite a great performance by the Philadelphia Eagles, Rodney Harrison picked off Donovan McNabb to confirm the third Super Bowl and a dynasty for the New England Patriots. Now, the next two seasons, 05 and 06, the Patriots remained in the playoffs, but unfortunately were not able to make it back to the Super Bowl either year, losing to Denver in 05 and Indianapolis in 06. 2007 came to be a historic season for the Patriots as Tom Brady won his first MVP with the help of Hall of Fame wide receiver Randy Moss. They led their team to an undefeated regular season record.
But tonight, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants, foot suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion. Overpowering over the competition. I'm towering, wrecking shop. When I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare. You better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that are all get sliced and diced. Competition's paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out.
After an awe-inspiring season, the Patriots faced off against the underdog New York Giants in the Super Bowl. Despite the odds tilted heavily in New England's favor, New York pulled a miracle win out of their ass. After such a deflating loss, Brady and the Patriots were ready to attack again going into the 08 season. Plans to repeat the perfect season were torn apart early as Tom Brady tears his ACL in the first game of the season.
Gus and Randy concerned in New England over this hit here. Watch Tom Brady's left leg hit right there, bent awkwardly, hit by Bernard Pollard. That in the first quarter play. Brady led off the field. We'll get you more information as it becomes available. Back to Gus.
Despite the blow, an unknown QB by the name of Matt Castle steps in and delivers with a great season. Some truly impressive play. Castle and the Pats go 11-5, but somehow are not able to make the playoffs. Tom Brady made his comeback in 2009 on Week 1 and led his team to a huge win against the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots are back in the playoffs this year, but ended up losing to the Baltimore Ravens in the wild card round. Now, in 2010, Tom Brady continued his great play and continued a great rebound from a terrible ACL injury and won the league MVP award after setting a record for 335 pass completions without an interception. Now, unfortunately, the Patriots were eliminated in the playoffs by division rival and underdog New York Jets, who also went on to beat the Indianapolis Colts, led by quarterback Peyton Manning. 2011, the Patriots kept on their winning ways and made it back to a franchise 7th Super Bowl, a rematch against the underdog New York Giants once again, who, as we all know, spoiled the Patriots' undefeated season in 07. Now, this matchup would prove to be tough. Although Brady played well, the huge drop by wide receiver Wes Welker proved to be the mistake the Giants needed to win the game. After another crushing defeat in the Super Bowl, people are beginning to question if Brady can ever win another Super Bowl. 2012 and 2013, Brady carried his team all the way to the AFC Championship 2 years in a row, both only to lose to the Ravens in 12 and Peyton Manning-led Denver Broncos in 13. The judgment and the questions only get louder as Brady and the Patriots keep falling short year after year. 2014, the Patriots start the season with 2 devastating losses, one coming in Week 1 against the Miami Dolphins, season opener, and the one that hurts the most, came to a blowout from the Kansas City Chiefs where Brady was benched in the 4th. After this game, talk of Brady being washed up and the Patriots' reign of supremacy ending were everywhere. Couldn't turn on a TV without someone talking about the Patriots or Tom Brady in a negative fashion. I think we are safe to say that Tom Brady, the New England Patriots, were listening. After a 2-2 start, the Patriots finished with a 12-4 record and returned to the Super Bowl after a close divisional round win against the troublesome Ravens and a pounding of the Colts in the AFC Championship. But for the Super Bowl, there was controversy that was sprouting that claimed the Patriots deflated footballs in the AFC Championship. This controversy was blown way out of proportion, and although Tom's fellow NFL players had defended them on multiple occasions, even admitting to ball tampering themselves, the media kept going with bogus headlines. Brady entering a Super Bowl against a dominant Seahawks team in a season where the world first called him washed up and now calls him a cheater. He has everything to prove. Super Bowl 49 against the Hawks ended up being legendary. Tom Brady played the greatest fourth quarter in Super Bowl history, and after a moment similar to the helmet catch, an undrafted cornerback by the name of Malcolm Butler picked off Russell Wilson to win the Patriots and Tom Brady's fourth Super Bowl.
It's our time. It started 7-8 months ago, right? All for this moment. All for this moment. It's about honor. It's about respect. We win this game, you're honored. Your kids are honored. Your families are honored.
When people keep repeating, if you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Did it! I love you, man. Did it, bro. I love you. I love you. My love open the door. The greatest quarterback in the world, man.
With the next season approaching fast, Brady was forced to spend most of his time in court appealing the NFL's Deflategate ridiculous 4-game suspension. Now, by the time the season began, Tom had defeated the NFL and successfully appealed the suspension, but the NFL was still in the process of appealing that decision. The Patriots' 2015 season was a dominant one. Despite a huge list of key injuries, they easily coasted into the playoffs with a first-round bye. In the divisional round, the Patriots pulled out a victory against the Chiefs, winning 27-20, but unfortunately came just short of making it back to the Super Bowl after a failed 2-point conversion that would have sent the game to overtime. The 2016 season started out rocky as ever. The NFL successfully appealed the Tom Brady's decision, forcing Tom Brady to serve an outrageous 4-game suspension. With backup quarterbacks Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett stepping in for the first 4 games, the Patriots still managed a 3-1 record. And when Tom Brady came back against the Cleveland Browns in Week 5, he easily grabbed the win and led his team to a 14-2 record. In the divisional round of the playoffs, they played the Houston Texans in a game that seemed closer than it actually was. They won 34-16. And in the AFC Championship game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a game that most people thought would be close, the Patriots coasted to a 36-17 victory, easily sliding the Patriots and Tom Brady into another Super Bowl. Now, this Super Bowl coming up against the Atlanta Falcons ended up being one of the most legendary games in sports history. The first overtime game, the first overtime Super Bowl, and the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history. Tom Brady led his team after being down 28-3 to overtime and eventually to a win.
Free someone up for a big play. Near sideline Mitchell, what a half he's had. Here's Edelman broken up, and the pass is no sign yet. Edelman comes down with a football, and they're saying it's a catch. Pass, Amendola, flag is down, Amendola's in. But it depends on the penalty. 19! Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his 5th!
The 5th ring for Brady basically cemented his status as the greatest football player of all time and Bill Belichick as the greatest coach of all time. Now, following the victory, the Patriots only got better, adding wide receiver Brandon Cooks and keeping the same core going into the 2017 season. Now, unfortunately, an injury to Julian Edelman in the 3rd week of the preseason ruined what could have been the best wide receiving corps in the league, maybe in history. But the Patriots and Tom Brady, who at this point was actually 40 years old, the oldest player in the NFL, managed to keep dominating with a record of 13-3. Tom Brady defied the odds and became the oldest player to win MVP.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it. Screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. The system broken, the school's closed, the prison's open. We ain't got nothing to lose, everybody we rollin'. Everybody we rollin'. With some light-skinned girls and some Kelly Rollins. In this white man world, we the ones chosen. So good night, cool world, I see you in the morning. I see you in the morning. This is way too much, I need a moment. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Till then, that the world's ours.
The Pats returned to the Super Bowl after beating the Titans in the divisional round of the playoffs and beating the Jaguars in a hotly contested AFC Championship game. They were facing the Eagles with a chance to win a 6th Super Bowl ring, and they were heavy favorites considering the Eagles were led by backup quarterback Nick Foles. Now, while the D's struggled, Tom Brady did not in this game. He had 3 touchdowns, a record 505 yards, which is, like I said, a record for the Super Bowl, and no interceptions. Tom Brady was playing the best football he had played all year. Unfortunately, they came up just short, losing 41-33 in a game where the Patriots' injuries on the O-line and defense caught up with them. Brady is now 41 and not showing any signs of slowing down, but after an interesting offseason.
After football for you? I think about it more now than I used to. Yeah.
Adam Schefter joins us now by phone. Mentioned at the top of the show, we have a trade. Brandon Cooks is now a Los Angeles Ram. How did this trade take place? What was the process?
I don't know how you heard that, but I mean, I'm definitely going to look at my future for sure. I'm going to sit down the next couple of weeks and see where I'm at.
Ron, what would make you retire?
I'm not ready for these type of questions right now. I mean,
Patriots fans are wondering, how long can this really last? 1, 2, 3 more years? What happens after Brady and Belichick leave? How did the Patriots avoid falling back into that mediocrity that they were once at after their legendary QB and coach tandem leave? The future is uncertain, but we need to continue to mold this team based off the same principles that have been instilled throughout our history. From the grit of John Hanna to the toughness of Steve Grogan, the do-your-job mentality of Bill Belichick, and the heart and fire of Tom Brady. We need to build our team based on those principles. Now, until they do retire, though, we're in championship mode. With all the doubt around the Patriots this offseason, expect a legendary season.
Some legends are told, some turn to dust or to gold, but you